Hello everyone, this is going to be a 200 jury charge for the RPR simulator, and this will be 5 minutes long. Okay, ready? Number 2, were the details not yet known to the public, and more importantly, I'm going to throw in here, were they not yet even known to the law enforcement officers who were asking the question? And number 3, the ability of the suspect to resist false suggestions, not to resist suggestions, but to resist false suggestions. We will talk about that when we talk about these March 1st statements. Now, you are going to hear in this case that there was nothing unique about the March 1st interrogation of Nathan Pressey other than it started off as a witness's statement. Remember, on March 1st, Nathan Pressey was still a witness. He was not a suspect at all. He wasn't on the radar screen. All Nathan did at that point, or all the police knew at that point, is that he may have seen some things in a fire of his uncle Tim Lake. And you are going to see that entire March 1st statement given by Nathan Pressey. Now, some of it is going to be difficult to watch for a couple of reasons. Number one, some of it's really boring, but we are going to show you start to finish the entire admission. I think it is going to be about 4 hours long. So as you think about what will happen later in this week, just prepare yourselves that you are going to have 4 hours of sitting and watching and a lot of time. It may not be very interesting. It's a lot of information that will be coming your way. Now, let me also warn you, because it's fair for me to do this, that some of the details may be disturbing to you. They are statements made by a young man who involved himself in some very, very serious behavior. He made some very serious choices, and you are going to hear how he made those choices and the kinds of things that he and his uncle did to this 25-year-old girl, all right? Now, we have to give you all of those details too. We have to play the entire statement for you. You are the jury in this case. You have to determine whether or not this makes sense, the degree of detail that Nathan gives, the words that Nathan uses, whether or not they ought to be believed. That is your job. Your job at the end of this case will decide whether that statement ought to be believed. I am going to briefly go through that Nathan Pressey said, or what Nathan Pressey said on March 1st, Nathan's version of what happened to Lindsay Masters. He, and again, sometimes in graphic detail, will talk about approaching his Uncle Tim's trailer, and before he even knocks on the door, he hears some screaming. He hears some screaming from inside of the trailer, and then he knocks on the door. Now, remember what I told you before about Nathan's statements, and should they be believed, and things such as, was he actually there, and did he help in this crime? Now, you must also remember that at the end of my opening, we are going to talk about some choices and the evidence of some choices that Nathan makes. The choice to knock on the door, even though you hear screaming from a young woman inside, is the first choice that Nathan makes. You are going to hear that Tim Lake answers the door. You are going to hear that he's sweaty and that he tells Nathan Pressey that he has raped this woman and that he has her in the back of his bedroom. Now, these are difficult, hard images to kind of wrap your mind around, but this is the version that Nathan Pressey gave on the 31st of October. Nathan actually sees Lindsay tied up. He sees her shackled with handcuffs and leg irons to the bed that is located in the back bedroom. And here, when we talk about decisions, Mr. Pressey himself asks Nathan if he wants to have sex with the woman that's been restrained in the bedroom now. Now, some of the language is very graphic. They don't use the words, do you want to have sex, all right? They use some very, very crude, degrading language towards any woman, but certainly towards a young woman who is in this trailer already. When we talk about those decisions that Nathan gets to make at this point, Nathan says, yes, I want to do that. You are going to hear that Nathan Pressey rapes Lindsay Masters. You will hear when he walks into the bedroom while Lindsay is restrained on the bed, and by force and by violence and with the use and threat of a weapon, he has sexual intercourse with this woman without her consent. You are going to hear a lot more details that I am not going to share with you at this time about the particular moment and about that particular event. I want you to listen to that young man's description of what Lindsay Master says to him as he's doing that to her. After the rape, Tim Lake praises his nephew and says, that's how you do it. These are explanations again from Nathan. The repulsive expression, lack of empathy, lack of any kind of moral fiber, any kind of moral compass at all, from an uncle to tell a nephew, that's how you do it. Then Tim and Nathan discuss if they should and how they should kill Lindsay Master. Again, there is the decision tree. What does Nathan decide to do? Tim says, will you help me? Nathan says yes. You will hear testimony about Tim and Nathan going into the bedroom. Tim Lake stabs the victim. Nathan Pressey actually handed the knife to his Uncle Tim, and he cuts Lindsay Masters' throat. His Uncle Tim is the one who cuts her throat. Okay, so we do have a small word list. We've got Tim Lake, capital T-I-M, Lake, capital L-A-K-E. Lindsay Masters, capital L-Y-N-D-S-E-Y. Masters, capital M-A-S-T-E-R-S. Nathan Pressey, capital N-A-T-H-A-N. Pressey, capital P-R-E-S-S-E-Y. And that concludes the 200 jury charge for the RPR simulator. Good luck.